Magnificent morning, awesome afternoon, and wonderful evening. This is Carla from Rehan Allahwala's World of Connections. And tonight I've been the honor of talking to someone who told me yesterday we have been Facebook friends for a long time. I thought it just started, and I don't even know how we are connected, but we have been Facebook friends for a while. His name is Kelton Alexander, and we're going to find out about him. The one thing I do know is that he came from a military background. He told me about that last night. And he does write really good posts on Facebook because that is what brought me to decide to speak to him tonight in this interview. Having said that, I want to remind you that this show, like all of my shows, is sponsored by the Institute of Peace, which is an online organization promoting peace one conversation at a time. Having said that, Kelton, please introduce yourself.
Well, thank you, Carla. Thanks for connecting with me. And it'd be a pleasure for me to introduce myself. I am an advocate of freedom, justice, and equality. My name is Kelton Alexander. And like Carla said, my basic bio is that while I was in high school, I had some fun as a recording artist for a while, making rap records. And this was during a time when rap was nowhere near as popular as it is now. This was in the early days of hip hop when we were cutting and scratching and we were in the parks and we were battling each other's, as far as lyrics and music, and the crowd would vote one way or the other. So I had a lot of fun doing that. That's a whole different story. But after that, I joined the Air Force from 86 to 90, and then the Marine Corps from 91 to 96. And after that, I got out and went to college, and then I got bit by the entrepreneur bug, and I've been a businessman since about 1998 up until now. And so now I serve on the board of a nonprofit organization here in Fontana, California. And our organization is called Juneteenth Education Technology Mobile Arts Center. And we were founded about 33 years ago, and we do 2 events a year. One is on the Martin Luther King holiday in January. This will be our 22nd year, where we get together in the community and the first responders, the political people and people in the community, business people, since everything is shut down that day, we have a prayer and a unity breakfast, and we have gospel choirs, and we have orators, and we have vendors in the hotel ballroom of the Ontario Doubletree Hotel in Ontario, California. And the second event we do every year for the past 33 years on the holiday of Juneteenth itself, which about a couple of years ago, if I'm not mistaken, became a federally paid holiday known as Juneteenth now. And we've been doing that for 33 years, where we have a jazz and arts festival, and we have a monument in stone dedicated to our cause every year. And so I serve on the board there, and I'm the director of video media relations for that organization. And I also am a junior broker with a financial firm here in Tustin, California, which is in Orange County, California. And basically, we deal with the 8 main components of money for middle American families who have been left behind when it comes to financial education. So those are the things that I'm passionate about, and those are the things that I'm doing right now.
Okay, now I thought I read somewhere that you were from Atlanta.
Right.
How did you end up from Atlanta to California?
Okay. Well, I was raised here in Southern California. Okay. And when I graduated high school, I joined the Air Force. And after I got out the Air Force, after about 4 years, I came back to California. But when I got out of the Air Force around 1990, California was not doing so good economically. And my aspirations as a rap music artist were not making any money. So I tried to get back into the Air Force, but they weren't taking any prior service because there were too many airmen. And so nothing impressed me about the Navy, nothing impressed me about the Army, but the Marine Corps impressed me. So I joined the Marines. And a year later, I was a United States Marine, and I went from California to boot camp to Georgia to learn my job in the Marines. And then I got stationed at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. After I left Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, it was right around the time of the Olympics in 1996. So I didn't want to go all the way back to California and then have to come back to Atlanta. I didn't want to miss the Olympics. So I took advantage of it. And instead of coming back home to California, I relocated to Atlanta. And I went to college there. I got a job there. I was fortunate enough to be able to go to the Olympics because the CEO of the company I worked for got us tickets to go to the Olympics. And I started college there, and that's when I got bit by the entrepreneur bug, and I started my business career in Atlanta. And about 5 years ago, my dreams came true of becoming a well-respected businessman in Atlanta when I was named as the 2016 Business by Video Technology CEO of the Year award winner and the keynote speaker at the 2016 Georgia Minority Business Awards, where I spoke to about 300 people who are heads of industries, potentates, I like to call them. These are captains of the industries that they do business in. And so that became a highlight of my career. So my heart is in Atlanta, but my mother is here in Southern California. My brother is here in Southern California. And the organization that I serve with now is here in Southern California. But my children and my grandchildren are in Atlanta, Georgia. So, I have a dual residency, I like to call it.
By the way, I was unable to tag you for some weird reason.
Okay.
So I'm just letting you know because I had promised you that and
okay.
I couldn't do it.
Oh, okay. All right. So I'm sure we'll get the link eventually.
Yeah, the link is on my profile page. So
okay, well, at least I have access to your page.
Yeah, if you want your friends to know, I will put that in the chat and you can send it to someone.
Okay, thank you.
I'll do it in a few minutes when you're talking.
Mm-hmm.
I just felt bad because I knew I had promised this to you.
Okay.
So you were in Atlanta, Georgia for a while. And now you have family there, so you go back and forth.
Right.
What kind of business degree did you get when you were in school?
Well, what happened when I was at Kennesaw State University around 1998, I was majoring in management information systems. And around my junior year, I got bit by the entrepreneur bug. And I was invited to the office of a businessman in the area who was in the money business. And this man was making about $700,000 a year, regardless of whether he worked or not. And sitting in his business meetings, I learned that the path that I was going down would eventually lead me to not being financially independent, meaning my money would no longer be working for me. I would forever be working for money. And I wanted his lifestyle. So I dropped out of college. Fast forward about 15 years or 20 years, I decided to increase my credentials. So instead of going back to college to get a diploma, I found out that the timing of the world, you didn't need a diploma because a diploma basically gets you a job. But I found out if you have credentials and you have certifications, then you pretty much can write your own check. You can become an independent contractor and you can write your own contracts and you can charge what the market says that your skills are worth. So I got fortunate to get grandfathered in to a consultancy business development firm. And I got certifications, 3 of which I hold right now from the International Independent Business University, which is marketing and sales, management, and use of technology. And the 3rd certification I have is, I forgot what it was, but I have 3 certifications, and those are the certifications that I use now. Some of them are on the wall behind me, but those are the certifications that I use now to basically be in business for myself.
Now, the links are in the Zoom chat, so you know where they are.
Okay.
Okay. I keep my word.
Okay.
Okay. Now, can you tell me a little about your business so I feel like I know what you're talking about?
Yeah, no problem. Right now, there are 3 current market trends that make what I do more important now than ever before. And the first market trend is that middle American families need to make more money because in the last few decades, incomes have pretty much stayed the same. Actually, in America, income has only, wages and salary have only increased about $200 in the past 20 years. But the problem is the cost of living has gone up. So families find themselves lucky right now to be living paycheck to paycheck, because now most families are falling paycheck behind paycheck more each month. So I'm sure you would agree that gone are the days of finding a good job, staying there for 40 years and retiring with Social Security and a pension, right?
Right.
Right. So not only are families falling behind more by the day, but they're not prepared to fund their own retirement, meaning a day when they are no longer required to exchange physical labor for money. That's what I call financial retirement. So families need to earn more. The second trend in today's market has to deal with our financial illiteracy problem here in the United States. Because a recent study by the FINRA Foundation, which stands for Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, right, they found out that 2/3 of Americans cannot pass a basic financial literacy test. And Carla, there are people who earn or make substantial incomes who are not saving and investing enough for their future. So simply making more money is not the answer. So because families deserve to learn and be educated how money works, they deserve to understand the most important rule of money and how to get it working for them instead of against them. They deserve to understand how different financial products work. They deserve personal financial plans and solutions based on solid financial principles. And the third market trend, Carla, is that the financial industry, for the most part, is either ignoring or taking advantage of middle American families. So as these organizations, Carla, downsize their number of licensed representatives, they stay focused more on capturing the wealth of wealthy families. And when they do talk to middle income families, they talk in complicated ways and sell them products that they only marginally understand. And unfortunately, some of these products actually jeopardize the future financial security of families. So where do they turn to find financial opportunity, education, and answers? So here's what I learned. What I learned, Carla, is that the formula to wealth is that you find an overwhelmingly huge need that addresses a large amount of people. You address that need and you will become wealthy. So those 3 current market trends have, they fit that formula. And so that's what I do for the most part. So
you are training people how to use their finances?
Actually, what I'm training people to do is get the word out about the intergenerational wealth transfer of 2022 to 2046. So if you were to Google intergenerational wealth transfer or great wealth transfer, if you were to Google that, CNBC.com did a report that said over the next 25 years, between 2022 and 2046, approximately 68 to 84 trillion dollars will pass through the households of about 45 million people, which creates an unprecedented opportunity. But the problem is there aren't enough people educated to handle the money. There aren't enough people licensed to handle the money, because the financial services industry, the people that worked in that industry, they're pretty much retiring right now. And so that's why you don't have insurance agents coming to your house anymore. The last time that somebody probably asked you, did you have life insurance, hasn't been in a while. It's now sold on TV and now sold on the internet. And that's how these companies are getting rich, off of the financial illiteracy of people, because people aren't taught money in school. So because of all this wealth about to transfer down from the baby boomers down to the Generation X, down to Generation Y, by the time it gets to Generation Y and Z, right, the younger generation, they're not going to be using the same people to handle the money that the baby boomers did. They're going to be either lose it, or they are going to be looking for someone else to handle the money. But because there's a shortage of people able to handle all this money. So just say, as I close out on your question, let's just say that you were traveling on the highway, and as you got off the exit, all you saw when you got off the exit was nothing but money plants ready to be harvested. Miles, 100 miles north, 100 miles south, 100 miles east, 100 miles west. Here's the question. What would you harvest all those money plants with? Trash bag, dump truck? What would you gather in that big harvest with? Well, if you know what a combine is, that is a huge machine that, let's say it's a wheat field, a huge machine that looks like a big giant lawnmower that gathers in, and it gathers in all of the wheat. You would need combines to gather in all of this wealth. So that's what I actually teach people to do. I teach people how to recruit people to our firm, and we pay for everything. And all a person has to do is pass a background check, and they can start making, the same type of money that doctors and lawyers make without having to go to school like doctors and lawyers do.
Now, is this international, or is it just in the United States?
Well, like I said, the problem that we have is a United States problem. Okay. So the licenses that we pay for, right, are licenses from the state. And most of these licenses are required by the state that you live in. The Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, also known as the Securities and Exchange Commission, they regulate. So the federal government and the state government regulates money. Okay. Traditional money like investments, insurances, and retirement accounts, and all those things that are these products provided by Wall Street. So this is a national business.
But it's really kind of cool because it's a way of keeping people on track with money.
Absolutely. And the competitive advantage that we have at our firm is that, let's say that you woke up on Sunday night and you wanted to do something with your money. And who would you talk to if you're a middle American family? Well, chances are you wouldn't talk to a stockbroker, because stockbrokers are only serving wealthy families. You wouldn't talk to a certified public accountant, because accountants count the money that you have. So you wouldn't be able to talk to a financial planner, because a financial planner, you don't have enough money for a financial planner to deal with. So the middle American market has been abandoned. But what's cool about what we do is that because we are a nonprofit organization, first of all, these the funding that it takes to build a business, right? We have access to those funds. So what we do is we bring somebody aboard to take a look at our program by looking at a basic 15-minute video, an animated short video that explains basic concepts and theories that, the wealthy tend not to share with middle American families that they've been using for hundreds of years, because the rules of money never change, right? just access to them are have been limited. They don't teach it in school. They don't teach it in the banks and the financial institutions because they don't want to get sued, number one. And number two, they don't want to share their wealth with you, because if you put your money in a bank account and it's only getting like 1%, but the market is getting like 10, 11, 12%, that difference of 11% that your money is earning for them, but they're giving you pennies, like 1%, they don't want to share that with you. So they're not going to educate you on it. So the competitive advantage that we have is we provide not only access to the market, but we provide comprehensive written financial solutions that you would typically pay $1,000 to a financial planner. We offer that at absolutely no cost.
Interesting. Now, what about these debt relief companies? Do you know anything about them? And are they really legitimate?
Well, in the money game, you would be surprised as to how people, lobbyists, interest groups, get the laws written in their favor. You would be surprised. So not until we look at the contracts, the paperwork, the fine print, would we know whether a family is getting taken advantage of financially. So you would like to think that the competitiveness of the financial industry, services industry, people play fair. If you ever notice, and I'm probably sure after this conversation, you'll start paying attention to the commercials that you watch. Notice that most of the commercials by financial services companies have nothing to do with educating people on financial services. They're more entertaining than anything else. And I'm not going to mention any names, but if a commercial is about 30 seconds long, I promise you about 20 seconds is going to be more entertaining than informative. And so you have to be very careful, because number two, you're not going to be dealing with a person. You're going to be dealing either with a person on a telephone, but gone are the days where you have your own agent, your own insurance agent, your own investment advisor, a financial advisor. Basically, they've left the industry in droves because the middle American market, which is the largest market, the baby boomer market, the average Joe, the first responders, people like us that are trying to make things better in the community, we're not making enough money for them. So they retired and left the industry. So now we're left vulnerable to the companies that, have these big budgets. And who do you think pays for these commercials? The rate of return that you should be getting on your money. The financial products that they're selling you that, aren't beneficial to you, but are more beneficial to them. And it looks good, but when you get to the fine print and it comes time for the payout, it comes time for the death benefit. When you get 20, 30, 40 years down the line and you realize that, wait a minute, my money should have been returning me 8, 9, 10%, but it's only been getting 2, 3, and 4%. And now I don't have enough money to retire on.
Yeah. So none of these things people who say who they are necessarily doing what they say they're doing.
Well, I like to think that they are, Carla. I do. But like I said, not until we look at the paperwork. You ever heard the term that the devil is in the details? So when you have a licensed professional that's qualified and knows what to look for, because like I said, these companies talk to middle American families in complicated terms that they only marginally understand. And not until it's time for the product to do what it's supposed to do in the time of need, do they find out that, hey, I got taken advantage of. And what can you do? You sign the paperwork. Really, you can't do anything. For example, I went into a bank to open an account. I'm not going to say which the name of the bank is, but I started asking questions about the account because I know that you want my money, because I know my money is going to work for you, but I want my money to work for me before it works for you. So I know the questions to ask. And if I'm not satisfied with how you answer my questions, let's just say it's Wells Fargo, Well, I know that I can go across the street to Bank of America and ask those same questions. I know I can go to a credit union and ask those same questions. So what kind of deal can you give me for my money? Not, I just need an account, so I'm just going to accept whatever you give me. And the particular banker that I was talking to, she was like, wow, nobody asked these questions. And then I asked her a question. I said, so how come you never asked the people these questions? She said, we're not allowed to because we could be sued. I was like, wow. So, what you don't know when it comes to money can hurt you down the line.
Wow. Now, what about, and I don't know anything. This is one area where people joke with me, Carla, do you know? And the answer is no, really, I don't.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes it very sad because I could easily be taken advantage of.
Yeah, yeah. People that are more mature, um, you know, they work hard for money, but they never learn how to make their money work hard for them. So there are two important numbers that you need to know. One is your financial independence number, which is a certain amount of money that you have working for you so that you no longer have to work for money again. And then the other number is your income protection number, which is the amount of uh, coverage on your home or coverage on your life or coverage on your vehicles, your assets, your will, your legal protection, all these things that protect you. You need to know what those numbers are based on what you have and based on the value of your work. And these are, in the areas of insurance. And so you just need to be educated. So, I'm 54 years old right now. And I found out when I got involved with this, if I would have had $10,000 and set it aside in a income uh, return based vehicle like a mutual fund, and I had that $10,000 and I just let that principal of $10,000 sit, and let's say it got me let's say a 12% rate of return, which I found out mutual funds have been returning for the past 75 years, because what a mutual fund is, it's about 1,000 different stocks all in one portfolio that are these mutual fund managers get paid by these mutual fund companies to return on average a certain rate of return. So if I had $10,000 and I had that sitting in an account, by 36 years later, that $10,000 would have grown to $640,000. Well, I didn't learn that in the military. I didn't learn that from my mom. I didn't learn that in school. I learned that from the man who called me and invited me to his office to see what he was doing, because he was looking to share what he knew with other people, and he was willing to pay other people to share what he knew, a commission based on the products that were provided to the middle income family. So yeah, I can understand where you're coming from. A lot of people have a real eye-opening experience with us when we sit down with them and we show them in black and white, okay, this is what you have. Did you know about this? 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 And chances are that product was sold to them by somebody that they know. And now they're really upset because the person was more interested in getting a commission on the product that they sold instead of making sure that the product was in the best interest of the family, even if they got a lower commission for it. So yeah, let's just put it like this. The economy is rigged against you.
Depending on how you look at it.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at things that are negative, that's what you're going to attract. If you look at things in a positive manner, you're going to attract the positive.
I agree. So I believe in a positive mental attitude, and that's how I operate. But, I like to tell people all the time, I don't make up the rules. I just play by them. So I maintain a positive attitude, but, I'm always looking at, okay, what is the fine print here? And when I'm talking contracts and documents, so we can have a positive mental attitude, but how can you win a game, Carla, if you don't know the rules?
Right. I do agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that you think you should leave our audience with?
Well, like you said, um, a positive mental attitude is very important for the times that we live in. I would say we need to do a lot more reading. Today, right now, you have more power at your fingertips than entire generations that came before you. Think about that, because that's what technology really is. It's a better way of doing things. It's adaptability, it's capability. But in the end, technology is only a tool. So what is the use of a hammer without the person who swings it? Right?
Right.
When it comes to creating the life that you want, you are the artist and technology is the paintbrush. So these mobile devices that we have, the internet has leveled the playing field. And so now, because what the pandemic did, it shifted. And me and you talked about this yesterday. It forced people into communicating the way that you and I are communicating. But at the same time, it accelerated the rate of success. So like you are in Washington, D.C., I'm here in Fontana, California. We're on two opposite sides of the United States. But you and I can, if we wanted to, we can create our own economy now, right? Because of digital ways of getting paid, and because of Amazon, and products can be delivered overnight, and what used to take decades is now taking months and even days now. So what I would leave the audience with is create your own internal economy. Connect with some people that are like-minded like you. And I like to teach people this, Carla. There's a difference between cash and money. A lot of people, Carla, when they say I'm broke and I don't have no money, what they're really referring to is they don't have cash. Because what I found out is the difference between money and cash is that money leads to cash. In other words, money is an idea or a process that has a system attached to it that generates cash. So let's say me and you were having coffee at your kitchen table tonight, and we saw a piece of cardboard on the floor, long enough, wide enough to fit across the windshield of a car. And I said, Carla, think about this for a minute. You see that piece of cardboard right there? Let's say that we were able to take that cardboard and we were able to make it in a way that was attractive, that a person would want to spread it across their windshield. And in the summertime, it will prevent the sun from baking their interior. Have you ever seen that product? Of course you have, because people spread these things across their windshield right now. Well, the person who came up with that idea then created a process and a system attached to it that generates cash. The idea was the money. The system and the process turned it into cash. So we live in a time right now where you can use your own creative mind. I mean, this mobile device that we have right here, wherever my cell phone is at, I think it's charging, it's got a camera on it. It's got a web browser on it. It is more likely a computer that just so happens to be attached to a phone. You can create your own economy now that we have social media and we have video. And, I use a certain technology that is a video marketing product that helps me get the word out frequently, consistently, persistently about the things that I do. So, we live in a time right now where you actually can become all that God designed you to become. All you need is the attitude of self-manifestation And you need to have victorious faith, meaning that you operate from victory. You're not going to victory. You are already victorious. You operate from victory. You are already victorious. So now it's just about getting some like minds together, creating a mastermind group, and leverage. That's another key word, leverage. More people contributing to your income, more people contributing to your success than just yourself. And the last thing I'll say is one is too small a number to achieve anything significant. Got to have teamwork.
True. Thank you so very much for speaking with me tonight.
Hey, it was a pleasure. Absolute pleasure.
And I hope we get to do it again soon.
Yes, I look forward to it.
And I look forward to meeting with you again. Thank you to the people who watch, and also to the Institute of Peace, which is promoting peace one conversation at a time. And can we wave goodbye? Bye.
See you later.
Have a good night, peeps.